So, while everyone's arguing about politics, I'm quietly positioning myself to pocket an extra 50K a month from the economic shifts that are unfolding due to Trump's booming economy. And no, I'm not talking about buying stocks or crypto or whatever your cousin told you at your last family dinner. Look, I get it. Talking about making money from political changes, it feels weird, maybe even a little bit dirty. But here's what the smart money already knows every time there's a major administration change. Massive market gaps open, and those who see them first get disgustingly rich. I'm talking about real tangible opportunities that are literally being created right now as we speak. Not in 6 months, not next year, but happening in real time. And before you think this is some complex Wall Street nonsense that requires a Harvard MBA, let me stop you right there. The opportunities I'm about to show you are blue oceans that have just been created. And they're so straightforward that even someone with minimal business experience can whip up an offer in a weekend and scale it to 50K a month. In fact, by the time you finish watching this video, you'll know exactly which 5 market gaps are opening up, how to position yourself to profit from each one, and why the next 90 days might be the most important wealth building window you'll see this decade. If you don't already know me, my name is Alex. I started a capital advisory firm at 22 years old, recognizing similar market gaps I'm seeing now, just in the financial market. The team and I at Savvy have raised over $400 million. So if you're interested in how I did this, subscribe to the channel, and after the video, watch the video in the description that breaks down market gaps in the financial industry. I'll leave the link in the bio. With that being said, let's dive right into the 5 market gaps that Trump's economy has created. Here's why 98% of entrepreneurs are going to completely miss what's happening. Most people see Trump's policy and immediately think of partisan politics. They're either celebrating or complaining instead of recognizing that every major political shift creates massive business opportunity for those smart enough to not only see, but take action. The biggest fortunes in history weren't built by people who waited for the dust to settle. They were built by entrepreneurs who moved fast while everyone else was paralyzed by confusion. Right now, Trump's policies are restructuring entire industries overnight, creating gaps between what businesses need and what solutions exist in the market. And here's the beautiful part. Most consultants and business owners are so caught up in the political noise that they're completely blind to the profit opportunities sitting right in front of them. So let me break down the 5 market gaps that are wide open right now. Starting with gap number 1, post-DEI workplace transition consultant. This is a good one. On January 20th, Trump signed an executive order that eliminated every single DEI program in the federal government. We're talking about 3 million federal employees who had their entire diversity infrastructure dismantled overnight. But it gets way bigger. These orders specifically direct the Attorney General to identify private companies with egregious and discriminatory DEI programs for potential federal investigation. The result? Complete panic in corporate America. Google just scrapped their diversity hiring goals they've maintained since 2020, and Amazon removed every single DEI reference from their annual report. Goldman Sachs ended their board diversity requirements for IPO clients, and Meta eliminated their entire DEI team. Walmart, McDonald's, Target, they're all racing to dismantle programs they spend millions of dollars building. But here's what creates the massive opportunity. None of these companies know how to transition from DEI-focused systems to merit-based systems without exposing themselves to legal liability. They're terrified of federal investigations. They're confused what policies they can keep versus what they need to eliminate. The list goes on and on and on. In the end, the reality is the same. They need help rewriting employee handbooks, restructuring hiring processes, and retraining managers on this new landscape. This is textbook market gap economics. Massive demand, zero supply, and customers willing to pay whatever it takes to solve their problem now. Companies are paying $25,000 to $50,000 for comprehensive policy transition audits, and they're paying the big guys like BCG millions to do it. They're paying $10,000 to $15,000 monthly retainers for ongoing compliance monitoring, and they're desperately looking for training to help their HR teams navigate the new reality. Plus, there are thousands of displaced DEI professionals who build careers around these programs. The consulting opportunity here is massive because most business advisors won't touch anything that seems political, especially the big guys like Boston Consulting Group I mentioned earlier, or Deloitte's, you name it. These guys aren't going to touch something that could potentially polarize them in the next election cycle. But you don't give a damn. While they're avoiding these markets out of fear, smart entrepreneurs are positioning themselves as the bridge between chaos and clarity. Gap number 2, America First government contracting facilitation. Trump's America First policies are unleashing the biggest government contracting boom we've seen in decades. The federal contracting market hit $750 billion last year, and federal law requires at least 23% of that to go to small businesses. How much is that, you ask? It's over $170 billion in guaranteed small business opportunities. Here's the market gap. Most small businesses have absolutely no clue how to navigate government contracting, whilst government agencies are under intense pressure to hit their small business contracting targets. We've got demand on the sell side, demand on the buy side. It's a perfect storm. The Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act alone is creating 461,000 new construction positions by 2025. The Association of Builders and Contractors estimates 500,000 unfilled contractor jobs in 2024. Meanwhile, 91% of construction firms involved in government infrastructure projects are struggling to fill open positions. These agencies need services. Small businesses can provide those services, but there's no bridge connecting them because the government contracting process is so complex and intimidating. Moreover, none of these small businesses have had to do this before. Unless you were previously a government contractor, why would you know the ins and outs of government contracting? You just wouldn't. Perfect supply and demand mismatch with high-value opportunities on both sides. The business model is simple. Become the translator between government agencies that need work done and small businesses that can do the work but don't understand the system. Government contracting consultants are charging 10 to 15% finder's fees on contracts they help secure. So a $500,000 contract could generate $50,000 to $75,000 in fee. Plus, they're earning $5,000 to $10,000 monthly retainers for ongoing proposal writing, compliance support, and contract management. Most consultants avoid this market because they think government bureaucracy is just too complicated. That fear is creating a goldmine for the few entrepreneurs smart enough to learn the system. This would be very easy to do. I would literally put up an Upwork post asking for a government contract specialist, get the contractor in as an employee, and then go to market using ads in order to find the small businesses that need help getting to the government. Okay, gap number 3, energy policy transition advisory. Trump's energy executives are creating massive shifts across every single industry. Projects that were blocked for 4 years, Keystone XL pipeline, federal land drilling permits, LNG export facilities, they just got the green light, baby. This creates winners and losers in every sector, but most businesses have no idea which category they're in or how to position themselves. You see, small manufacturers who have been paying premium energy costs under Biden's policies suddenly have access to cheaper domestic energy, but they don't know how to restructure their operations to take advantage of that. Logistics companies need help understanding how new pipeline infrastructure will affect their transportation costs and their route planning. Agricultural businesses, well, they want to capitalize on lower fuel costs, but they need help restructuring their supply chains. Meanwhile, companies that invested heavily in renewable energy products under Biden's subsidies are panicking about how Trump's fossil fuels focus affects their return on investment. None of these businesses need technical energy expertise. They need someone who understands the policy landscape and can translate it into actionable business strategies. Energy transition consulting packages are selling for between $30,000 and $50,000 right now, with ongoing monthly retainers of $8,000 to $12,000 for policy monitoring and strategy adjustments. The opportunity is massive because most business consultants think energy requires technical knowledge. It doesn't. It requires understanding how policy changes create profit opportunities. Now, gap number 4 is regulatory rollback navigation services. Trump's deregulation agenda is eliminating thousands of regulations across healthcare, financial services, construction, and manufacturing. When regulations disappear, businesses don't automatically know what new opportunities they can pursue. Healthcare is a perfect example. The telehealth industry is an example of regulatory chaos right now. Over 80% of physicians use telehealth services today compared to just 14% in 2016. But Medicare telehealth flexibilities are set to expire September 30th, 2025, creating what industry experts call a telehealth cliff. Healthcare companies have no idea how to navigate that changing landscape or what services they can continue offering. They're desperate for someone to audit their operations and identify opportunities created by regulatory changes. The same pattern is playing out across industries. Financial services firms don't know what new products they can offer under relaxed banking rules. Same thing goes for crypto businesses, which don't know how or when to speak to the SEC about their products. Construction companies are confused about environmental restrictions that still apply or don't to their projects. Manufacturers want to understand how simplified regulations affect their operations, as well as tax cuts and tax incentives might allow them to make better bottom lines. This creates massive demand for regulatory impact consulting. Businesses will pay premium prices for someone to identify new opportunities created by deregulation and develop action plans to capitalize safely. Regulatory opportunity assessments, they're selling for 20 to 40 grand, plus their ongoing compliance monitoring that they're going to need. Well, that's an extra $15,000 recurring in your pocket. Most consultants avoid regulatory work because, once again, they think it's difficult. That complexity is exactly what creates the high-value opportunity for those either willing to learn it or hire for it. Gap number 5 is merit-based workforce optimization. Trump's immigration policies and emphasis on merit-based systems are forcing businesses to completely rethink their workforce strategies, especially in industries that have relied heavily on immigrant labor. Construction is experiencing this disruption in real time. Foreign-born workers make up 25.5% of all construction workers, and that's what's publicly available data. About 3 million people. Recent immigration raids have already caused massive project delays. A single raid in Tallahassee removed 100 workers from a single construction site, devastating the entire project timeline. The construction industry needs at least 500,000 new workers in 2025 just to meet demand, but immigration crackdowns are shrinking the available workforce. Wow, demand explodes from infrastructure spending. So what's going on here? Well, companies are scrambling to restructure their recruitment, their training, and their retention systems around merit-based criteria rather than demographic targets. They need help navigating the new immigration system for high-skilled workers whilst developing strategies to reduce dependence on traditional labor model. There's also massive demand for automation and efficiency consulting as businesses look for ways to maintain productivity with smaller workforces. See, workforce optimization consultant is generating $40,000 to $60,000 project fees plus ongoing implementation support. Merit-based hiring system design is selling for 25 to 35 grand with monthly retainers for ongoing compliance and support. This opportunity is huge because most HR consultants are still operating under the old diversity-focused model. The few who understand merit-based systems are dominating these markets. Here's how you position yourself to capitalize on these gaps. First, stop thinking like everybody else. While most entrepreneurs are worried about how policy changes affect their existing businesses, you should be thinking about what new businesses these changes make possible. The money isn't made adapting to change. It's made solving the problems that change creates. Second, pick one gap and become the undisputed expert. Don't try to chase all 5 markets. Focus on one. Understand it completely and build your reputation as the go-to person for that specific transaction. Third, understand you don't need to be a policy expert. You need to be a solution provider. Your clients don't want political analysis. They don't care. They never have. They want business strategies that will help them profit from the changes. Start with simple consulting and advisory services. These require minimal capital but generate immediate cash flow while you learn the market inside and out. Hire the people necessary to get the job done as you start to get these contracts so that you can meet the demand with your own supply. Fourth, content is your unfair advantage. Most business owners in these markets are completely confused about what the policy changes mean for them. If you can create content that explains implications clearly, you immediately position yourself as an expert worth paying. But here are the critical mistakes that I see people making. Right now, these markets are wide open because most consultants are afraid to touch anything that seems political. So their fear is your opportunity. The entrepreneurs who move fast over the next 90 days will own these markets over the next 4 years. Everyone else will spend their time watching other people's success stories and wondering what they missed. If you want to learn exactly how to identify and capitalize on policy-driven opportunities like these, I've put together comprehensive training that breaks down my entire system for building businesses around economic transitions. This training shows you how to position yourself ahead of major shifts, build consulting offers that solve urgent problems, and scale to $50,000 in monthly revenue while competition is still trying to figure out what the heck happened. The link is in the description below. And if you're serious about building a business that profits from economic chaos instead of being destroyed by it, we should talk about working together directly. The entrepreneurs I work with one-on-one are consistently building seven-figure businesses by positioning themselves ahead of major trends instead of reacting after everyone else figures them out. Make sure to subscribe because I'll be breaking down specific strategies for each of these markets over the coming weeks, including exact client acquisition methods and the prospects who are desperately looking for these solutions right now. The opportunities are staring you in the face. The competition is scared to act, and the businesses who move first are going to own these markets. So don't be the entrepreneur sitting here 12 months from now, watching someone else's success story and wondering why you didn't act when you had the chance. Pick your gap and get to work. I'll see you in the next video.